With these ambiguous regulations being set forth by the FDA, this leaves many important aspects of the manufacturing process open to interpretation. Judging by this, it's no surprise to see that there's so many products that are underdosed or don't even contain the ingredients they're supposed to be containing out there flooding the market, and consumers are buying them, taking them, not even knowing what they're ingesting in their bodies. So as a company who prides ourselves on delivering the highest quality products and ensuring that our customers are getting what they paid for, what can we do to ensure something like this never happens? We can take action by ensuring that the manufacturer conducts raw material testing before the manufacturing itself even takes place. By doing this, we pick up the extra cost, but in doing so, we ensure that our product quality is going to be conserved, which is our utmost concern whenever it comes to releasing products. By doing this, if the raw material comes back with a poor quality result, we can take this to the manufacturer and tell them that they have to be held responsible because this poor quality result is not agreeing with the certificate of analysis given to them by the supplier. And like we stated earlier, when there is a discrepancy between the certificate of analysis from the supplier and the actual testing that you have done to take place to reconfirm the supplier, you now have an issue that needs to be taken action. Now for this, I'm going to use a real world example of something that easily happens. You receive a raw material and you take it for testing. So this raw material comes back with 93% purity, when as a matter of fact, the certificate of analysis from the supplier states that it's supposed to be at 98% purity. Now there's a discrepancy between the certificate of analysis and your actual testing using the same testing methods. Due to this discrepancy, the manufacturer is now held responsible to handle this because there is a disagreeing between the COA that they have been using for reconfirmation and the actual testing that has taken place. An important thing to note whenever it comes to manufacturing a finished product is that the manufacturer is responsible for making this product have a plus or minus 10% error margin in the finished product label. So anything larger than this margin is deemed unacceptable by the FDA standards, so the manufacturer is bound to ensuring that they meet this product quality. I want to give a couple examples of just exactly what happens whenever we use a 98% purity product versus a 93% purity product and how much that can affect the final product. Now, here we have a 98% purity ingredient that undergoes normal manufacturing practices, and we end up with the finished product being somewhere around 294 milligrams per capsule with a plus or minus 10% error margin in the specific weight of each capsule. Now, this is going to fall under an acceptable range by FDA standards. So let's now take those same manufacturing processes that we use to manufacture the 98% purity ingredient and apply it to a 93% purity ingredient. So we take the same amount of that ingredient, whether it be due to us not knowing how much of the purity the product really is, or the manufacturer simply not making any sort of adjustments for this lack of higher purity. So we have this 93% purity product dosed at 300 milligrams, we're going to end up with only an average of 279 milligrams per capsule. Now, whenever we apply the plus or minus 10% margin of error for this finished product is now very likely to fail any finished product testing and will no longer meet the specifications needed on the finished label product to be acceptable by FDA standards. As the owner of a supplement company myself, and as consumer, we can see just how much of a difference this small percent difference in the percent purity of raw materials can affect our finished product. And by knowing the ingredient purity beforehand, the manufacturer can then adjust the batch record to adjust by that 5% less in purity, ensuring a proper product can still be delivered using that 93% ingredient. So here are the quick calculations for adjusting our batch record to to make up for that 5% less pure product, we add more. You simply add more of the product and you'll still get the same result of 294 milligrams as an average per capsule. So with that plus or minus 10% margin for error, we're still able to meet acceptable product label claims for the finished product, even if we are encountering this with a 93% pure ingredient, because we adjusted for this discrepancy before the manufacturing process began. So what happens when companies ignore testing or simply only test on a finished product and not the raw materials? It's very possible that the finished product fails to meet label claims. In this case, what will the company do? The company will then continue selling this underdosed and unsafe product to the consumer because they don't want to lose tens of thousands of dollars in revenue by doing the right thing. We are sick of seeing this kind of behavior in the industry. We're sick of seeing the corner cutting. We're sick of seeing the integrity being swept under the rug, all for quick profits without any regard to the consumer's safety and well-being. And because of this, we are taking action and we're separating ourselves from the hypocrisy that we see in this industry. Let me tell you how we are exactly doing that in tomorrow's episode.